Welcome to Goshen Prepping. Thank you for joining us. I went to the dentist today. How fun. Actually, I do enjoy the dentist, mind you. But from things that actually transpired today, I figured it's a good thing to make a video. So I'm going to make a video for you. Things you need to know. There's really some good stuff in this video, so stay to the end. Stuff that you're going to find to be very helpful, mind you. The current state of our condition of our healthcare in America, plus also some things you can do for preppers when it comes to dentistry. All right, so let's jump into this. I love our dentist, as I mentioned. In fact, most of my family does. We do very well in brushing and flossing and make sure our teeth are nice and clean. And we have to. Our diet, America's diet today, is so saturated in sugar, and sugar is the big culprit in simply just trashing your teeth and your gums and such. And a lot of it comes from soda or pop or whatever you call it where you live. Really, really bad stuff. And I'm not saying I don't let my kids have like an occasional piece of candy, once in a while. But there's a rule in our house. You have your candy, enjoy it. Was that good? Now go brush your teeth and brush it really well to get that sugar out of there. Okay, let's understand what's happening in our healthcare industry. So we go in there, 6 months cleaning, regularly scheduled. We've always done it this way. We do very well. I enjoy going to the dentist. And today, when we finished up with my cleaning, she said, everything looks good. No cavities as usual. Good job. Your teeth are always stellar. We'll see you in a year. And I was like, a year? Isn't it 6 months? And she goes, yeah, but because of the labor shortage, we actually lost during the pandemic a dental hygienist, and we can't get another one. We've been trying for 2 or 3 years now and haven't got another one. And because of this, they've added on so many hours to the work schedule for the hygienists they do have. They're completely overloaded. And I said, well, if you come in for every year instead of 6 months, isn't that like more tartar and plaque buildup? She goes, yeah, we've actually had to add on 10 minutes for each extra patient just to scrape off the extra tartar and plaque. This isn't just dentistry. You may have noticed this in the United States as well, or possibly in the country you live in, that certainly not dentistry, but other parts of healthcare too, not even just healthcare, but it used to be you could actually go into the doctor, schedule an appointment probably the same day or next day, but now it's like weeks, if not months out. I actually had my muffler on my car rattling, so I went into a muffler shop, and he goes, all right, let's go ahead and schedule an appointment. I said, great. You want to take a look at it first? He goes, no. We want to schedule an appointment just to look at it and tell you if we can do it or not, or how long it's going to be. I was like, you don't simply just look at it? He goes, nope, sorry. You'll have to come back another time for us to even just give you an estimate of how long it would take to fix it. This is crazy. We're seeing this going into all areas of our modern society. Okay, but anyways, back to being the dentist. We're seeing some certain problems. You're certainly going to have problems because of this if you're not getting your teeth cleaned. That plaque buildup in the tartar can certainly lead to more cavities. So we want to be preppers. This is Goshen Prepping. What do we do about this? Well, this video is all about what you can do, and I want you to understand that you need to be able to take care of your teeth, especially if crap hits the fan and there are no dental people, dentist or dental hygienist available. I will stress, you don't want to do this unless the crap hits the fan situation. You don't want to mess with your own teeth if you don't know what you're doing. But the first thing I want to show you is just a really inexpensive dental kit, $10 on Amazon. And honestly, it's probably not the most advanced kit. I don't know a whole lot about dentistry. I know all the anatomy, physiology of it, but of course they have all kinds of tricks of the trade. But this kit is awesome. $10 for all the stuff in here. And it actually even tells you in this little cheat sheet some of the different things it does, like a number 5 tartar scraper. That's good. A dental probe. Okay, so all kinds of different things on there. And what's nice is since it's stainless steel, you can actually sterilize it or actually make it so it's going to be nice and clean after you use it on one person in your family. But I'll put a link below for this. $10. You really can't beat that. Okay, so it has everything you need. Let's talk about sterilization for a second. Even if you actually just use like scalpels for whatever reason, again, don't do this unless you know what you're doing and crap hits the fan, etc. Did you know some dishwashers now actually have a sterilization mode? Ours doesn't. I would still recommend if you use this dental kit to go ahead and run it through your dishwasher just to get all the garbage off of it. Then all you have to do is bring water up to a rolling boil, put the instruments in the rolling boil for 3 minutes, and they're good to go. They're actually sterilized enough. Now, how do you take care of a lot of these things? That's the second thing I want to show you. Instead of actually buying a completely separate book on just dental, let's go back to one of my top favorite books. If you don't have this book, you certainly should get it. Again, I'll put a link below. From Dr. Alton, or he goes by Dr. Bones and Nurse Amy, Survival Medicine Handbook. Almost all doctors, mind you, will not give you medical advice on how to do things, but Dr. Alton says, I don't care. I'm going to do it anyway. If crap hits the fan, you got to know how to do these things. And this book is chocked full of all of those things, including, guess what? An entire section on dentistry. Excellent. So we know how to be able to take care of fillings or not fillings, but cavities and such. And even though I have this very simplistic kit, he actually has listed in here a more advanced kit you might want to consider putting together. And maybe what I'll do in the future is actually put that stuff together too and bring it onto this channel as well, if that's something you're interested in. Okay. Now, beyond that, trying to get the bacteria off your teeth, obviously scrubbing it with a toothbrush and stuff works well. But something else you can do is what's called oil pulling. Have you ever tried this before? The best way to do it is simply just take some coconut oil, like virgin coconut oil, and for an adult, 1 tablespoon, put it in your mouth. It's a very weird taste and sensation, mind you, but swish it around for 20 minutes. And as you swish it around, literally all of the coconut oil will set up a lipid layer around the bacteria, killing them, rendering them harmless, so they'll actually not cause cavities. And if you do this, you can actually greatly reduce the amount of cavities you have. If you actually have a cavity, it won't make it go back to non-cavity state, but it certainly will stop it from advancing and becoming worse. It's been proven. This is not simply just a couple of people saying this, but oil pulling is an amazing way to kill off bacteria. Now, back in the day, there wasn't as much sugar back then, and people sometimes ate more meat, like chicken and stuff around their homestead. There was actually, in a lot of cases, less cavities and decay in the mouths than they do in modern times. You always see these pictures of a long time ago, people missing half their teeth. You see a lot more of that in modern America than you actually do like in old school America in a lot of those situations. All right, when it comes to oil pulling, it's not just the bacteria, but there's a whole bunch of benefits to it. Number 1, reduces harmful bacteria in the mouth, as we just mentioned. It kills them off. Number 2, helps reduce bad breath. A lot of bad breath comes from bacteria. 3, helps prevent cavities and also stops them from growing more. 4, this is an important one, reduces inflammation. And 5, improves overall gum health. Now, I want to stress, you still need to brush your teeth. Don't simply just do oil pulling, but oil pulling once a day if you could, brush your teeth once or twice a day, depending on what your habits are and what you actually eat too. Again, sugar, really bad stuff. So let's talk about toothpaste. Toothpaste when crap hits the fan. My wife and I, whenever we come across a clearance somewhere, and we'll notice that there's a certain toothpaste that we like to use, we like to actually use more of the homeopathic old school toothpaste. And it's on clearance, we'll buy a lot of it, really stock up on it. It's really helpful, but stuff's expensive. Back in the day, people used to use what was called tooth powder. They would take their toothbrush, wet it, dip it in the tooth powder, and brush with it. And they used all kinds of crazy stuff for their tooth powder, including little broken pieces of brick, chalk, eggshells, crushed up bone, hoofs of animals, etc. And in your mind, you might think that worked because they literally said, oh, what's going to do? It's going to scour your teeth and take off all the gummy stuff. And it did. It took off all the gummy stuff and wore away the enamel of the tooth. I don't know if you know it, but your tooth, people say, oh, your tooth, it's a bone. Not only, you're actually, if you touch your tooth, you're not touching bone, you're touching the enamel. The enamel is made of what's called calcium phosphate, and it's actually incredibly hard. In fact, it's the hardest part of the tooth, and it's the hardest substance in your entire body. I don't know if you know that. The actual bone is underneath that enamel. You wear away that enamel using some of those ingredients I just talked about, you're going to expose the bone, and bone itself rots very easily. If you ever actually have an open fracture and the bone comes out, having bacteria on the bone could be lethal to you, as it can actually spread throughout your bones and your body and kill you. So making sure your enamel stays intact is important, because you want to, if you lose the enamel, you lose the teeth. That's the easy way to understand it. But we want to still be able to brush our teeth well, especially when crap hits the fan, but not use all those abrasive substances. So there are some things you can do now to actually make your own tooth powder that actually works very well. And here's some ingredients you might want to look at. Number 1, the best ingredient by far is baking soda. You can also consider activated charcoal, bentonite clay, sea salt, and for flavorings and such like essential oils or other flavorings like mint. Baking soda and mint, in my opinion, is the best thing you can do. Actually putting in the clay and all that stuff, activated charcoal, honestly, I don't see any reason for it. Baking soda and mint is one of the most amazing toothpaste you can make. It's tooth powder. Again, just dip your wet toothbrush into it, scrub away just like you normally would brush your teeth. And there's no need to have all these ingredients, which, by the way, some of the ingredients of a lot of toothpaste you have are not really good. Now, last word of advice. This is a very helpful tip, especially if you're looking at you're being stuck out in the wilderness and crap hits the fan. You don't have your toothbrush, you don't have your tooth powder, etc. What can you do? Pine trees are your best friend. What you can do is take the needles off the pine trees, especially if it's like long pine needles, like a ponderosa pine, branch them together and actually make a little toothbrush. That works well. It's kind of a pain. Just simply take the tip of a branch, shave off the end of it, chop it up into little pieces, and literally you can use a little tip of a pine tree branch as a toothbrush. Fray the edges and it'll work just great. This is a perfect trick out in the wilderness to brush your teeth. Hopefully this works for you and helps you out. Any of you out there, dentist or dental hygienist, what other tricks do you have when it comes to if crap hits the fan? But there's all kinds of things we can do, especially not buying into all the different nasty contaminated chemicals they put in toothpaste and everything else. There's some really simple old ways to do stuff, and that's what we're all about. But anyways, put things in the comments below. Love to hear your opinion on it too. Thanks for watching.